Former acting Homeland Security Secretary under President Trump and also chairman of the America First Policy Institute's Center for Homeland Security and Immigration, Chad Wolf, joins me now. Chad, Happy New Year to you. Thanks for joining us. According to
Happy New Year as well.
Thank you. So according to CBP's own numbers, we've seen for 9 months now encounters at the southern border with migrants trying to cross into the United States has topped 160,000. This culminated last month with a total of 175,000 encounters. Tell us what that means to you.
Well, what we see month after month since the Biden administration took over in January of 21 is historic numbers. Each month they get worse and worse as far as the illegal apprehensions across that border. And what that means is that both their messaging and the policies that they're putting in place to address the border security crisis is not working. They need a new strategy, they need a new approach, and we continue to see these record high numbers because what the cartels and what the illegal migrants know is that if they cross that border, odds are that they will remain in the United States for years as their immigration court proceedings continue. And that's the issue here, and that's what the Biden administration needs to address. They're trying to do it with the Remain in Mexico program, even though they don't agree with it, and they're going to the Supreme Court to try to get it overturned. So messaging's a problem, and their policies are a problem.
So CBP also tells us now it's not only the challenge of dealing with record numbers of migrants coming across the border, it's record amounts of fentanyl that are also breaking through certain sectors of the U.S. Southern border. That's almost equally dangerous, right?
Well, absolutely. And the two go hand in hand because what we see, the cartels are making the numbers upwards to $14 million a day, smuggling and trafficking human beings in record numbers across the border. And what they're doing with the proceeds of that are putting it back into their illicit enterprise. And so you're seeing record numbers of illicit narcotics, fentanyl, opioids, and the like coming across that border in numbers that we have never seen before. And we're only apprehending just a small percentage of it, usually at ports of entry, and we don't know really what's coming between the ports of entry in the middle of the desert and elsewhere because our agents, our Border Patrol agents, are no longer on the border doing that national security mission. They're instead back in Border Patrol facilities processing these large numbers of migrants, and we need them on the line. We need them apprehending individuals and illegal narcotics coming across that border.
A lot of the border hawks, you listen to them, and they like to list over and over again this multitude of threats, right? Drug traffickers, human traffickers, would-be terrorists apprehended at the border, like that Saudi gentleman with ties to Yemeni terrorists we heard about last week. I don't hear a lot of people, though, really doing the hard work of prioritizing those threats so that us ordinary Americans can sort of understand what we need to be concerned about. What do you see as the top threat right now?
Well, sure. The threat is what we see is, the record numbers of individuals coming across that border. A lot of them are families and a lot of them are minors, but not all. And so embedded in this flow, and what we saw during the Trump administration was embedded in the flow are your public security concerns, the MS-13 gang members and other criminals, your national security threats and the like. And again, those numbers are not huge, but they don't need to be huge. You don't need hundreds of thousands of MS-13 members and other national security and would-be terrorists coming across. You only need a small handful coming across that border. And that's what Border Patrol, that's their job, day in and day out, is to patrol that border and make sure those individuals don't come in the country, and if they do, are apprehended. But what we see month after month because of this historic numbers is we're seeing upwards of 50 to 60,000 gotaways. These are individuals never apprehended by Border Patrol because we don't have enough agents and enough resources, because the system is overwhelmed by the number of folks coming across that border. And that is the concern. The concern is having those criminals and other national security threats get by the Border Patrol, not apprehended and not interviewed and not come into contact with at all.
Now, the state of Texas is making moves on its own. They've broken ground on this border wall that they are planning to move forward with completely on their own. They're doing it without funding from the Fed, but they're also doing it without any kind of authorization from the Fed. Is this something you're supportive of? Is it something that could be replicated in other states? And is this sort of okay?
Well, unfortunately, it's something that Governor Abbott's having to do on his own. Look, this is a national security issue, and the federal government, DHS, needs to be leading the charge here. But what we see from the Biden administration is not building new border wall. Again, withdrawing from the Remain in Mexico program, canceling a number of policies that work. And so Governor Abbott, Governor Ducey, and others along the border are looking at the border, seeing that it's wide open and saying, how do I protect my constituents? How do I protect Texans? And one thing that they do and they listen to are the Border Patrol agents along that border that say we need effective infrastructure. We need that impedance and denial so that if someone trying to cross the border, it gives us time to get to that location and to apprehend them. And that's what Texas is doing as they build that border wall. So should they be expending state resources? No, the federal government should be doing it. But I don't know that Governor Abbott really has a choice at this point. His RGV, which is the Rio Grande Valley, is ground central for this surge, and he needs to protect Texans and other communities along that border, and he's doing everything that he can.
Governor Abbott has already pledged close to $2 billion to the project, so we'll certainly be tracking that. Chad Wolf, thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it.
All right, great. Thank you.